Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode of My Thoughts. Back here, very interesting topic we had to talk about here today. But I thought I'd just come on here and make a video. Kind of come back here with my thoughts. There's actually a slew of other topics I have to do my thoughts on, but there's just plenty of other topics. So we'll be having a my thoughts one. This one I kind of waited a while for, just because of the court proceedings. We're going to get into that later, but just the court proceedings, I wanted to wait and see legally if anything else happened. But the case was closed as of now. So we're going to be talking about Afroman's court case. Now, I'm sure you guys probably have heard about this. It's actually become quite popular over the last few weeks as it was unfolding and happening. But long story short, if you don't know who Afroman is, he's a rapper. He's a cool rapper. I know who he is. I've known who he was before this court case. He has some great songs out there. But, most of the time, most of the thing you need to know is a rapper. Made some good songs in the 90s, like Because I Got High, I think. When did he make that? Let's see. Because I Got High, he got nominated for a Grammy Award in 2002 for Best Solo Rap Performance. Yeah, long story short, made some good songs. I like him. I knew who he was beforehand. A very interesting controversy he's, gotten himself into over some very funny, and it's actually really funny. It's a very interesting topic, though. So I figured I'd come on here and make my thoughts about it. I thought a lot of people, considering it's trending now, I thought you guys might enjoy it. Just because something going on. Yeah, we're going to get right into it here. Reading some, this is from Wikipedia, then I'm going to read another article here on a different website. We'll get to that. But mainly talking about the raid on his Ohio home in August 2022. And this also happened a couple years ago, like the actual raid itself. We're going to get into that, of course. August 2022. The Adams County Sheriff's Department in Ohio searched Foreman's home. His real name, Joseph Foreman. By the way, I didn't mention that. That's his real name. So we're going to talk about Foreman. It's also Afroman. Foreman's home while he was in Chicago on suspicion of kidnapping and drug trafficking. An anonymous report came down that that's basically what he was doing in his house, and it was enough for the judge to serve a warrant. So they were serving a warrant being there. I have done a fair amount of research on this case, so I'm also just kind of reading articles so you guys get a better understanding of what happened. But I've done my fair amount of research on this case, so I am a little bit more knowledgeable coming to you guys about it. No evidence of criminal activity was found and no charges were laid. The police search damaged his door, external gate, and security system with costs over $20,000 to repair. And I'll also, throughout this video, obviously there's some gameplay, but I'll also be showing some different clips of the court case, his home security footage of when they actually raided the place, and also some of the other music videos. So we'll get into that later, but if you're paying attention to the screen, I will be showing some footage, different kinds of footage of what actually happened. Because it's interesting. It's a very interesting case nonetheless, so I figured it would be interesting to show. But officers seized over $5,000 of cash, which was returned with $400 apparently missing, which he claimed. Foreman said he only had a few blunts and unused pipes, which is not really anything, honestly. If you're searching for drugs, it's not what they were searching for. Foreman posted about the experience on social media after he came home while he was in Chicago and criticized the officers for the raid and damaging his property. He posted about a previous burglary on his home, which the sheriff's department threatened him with arrest if he kept checking about the progress of the case. He was told that they did not have time to provide him with an update. And the Sheriff's Department of Adams County is already kind of seedy, in my opinion, just because of what they were kind of doing. So that's just my straight opinion. The department itself is kind of seedy, just from what they did here, plus some other things. He recorded 3 songs. Then, in usual fashion, it's funny how he did it. He recorded songs to kind of diss them back and what they did to them. So he recorded 3 songs criticizing the raid, titled Will You Help Me Repair My Door, Lemon Pound Cake, set to the tune of Under the Boardwalk by the Drifters, and subsequently the title track of his 18th studio album, Why You Disconnecting My Video Camera. He released 3 music videos on December 29, 2022, composed primarily of security camera recordings of the raid, which is what I'll be showing you guys shortly. The music video for Will You Help Me Repair My Door was viewed over 11 million times, with a lemon pound cake video, gotta love it. That was viewed also 5 million times on the YouTube platform. Then, on March 14th, 2023, 7 sheriff's officers, Sean Cooley, Justin Cooley, Michael Estep, Sean Grooms, Brian Newman, Randolph Walters Jr., and Lisa Phillips, will become very familiar with Lisa Phillips later in the video, sued Foreman, alleging that his use of the video of the raid invaded their privacy. The suit said that music videos and social media posts Foreman had resulted in humiliation, ridicule, mental distress, embarrassment, and loss of reputation. Court dismissed the claim that he improperly used the officer's likeness for commercial purposes, but the claims of defamation and false light go to trial. Trial began March 2026, so recently. So this, of course, took a lot of time to kind of process into what it's become, of course, since 2022. So very recently, in March 26, Foreman taking the stand to testify on the second day. Throughout the trial, Foreman wore a suit and a pair of sunglasses adorned with U.S. flags. We'll see him on the stand on that cool suit. It's a very patriotic suit. I love it. Yeah, we'll see him on the stand in some of the footage I'll show as well. And as he said, each of the plaintiffs also testified the American Civil Liberties Union filed an amicus brief, sorry if I messed that word up, characterizing the case as an example of strategic lawsuit against public participation. Foreman's lawyer also argued that the plaintiffs were public officials and thus held to a higher standard. On March 18, 2026, a jury returned a full verdict in favor of Foreman, clearing him of any civil damages against the officers. Afterwards, Foreman saw a 500% increase in streaming compared to before. So as I was saying, his music videos and the publicity of this court case was very high profile, and a lot of people started noticing Afroman even more. And of course, as you see, streaming compared to before, it's going viral all over, so that's why I'm covering it here. I've seen it on TikTok and all over. We'll be getting into some of his other antics, more or less why the officers actually sued him. I'll be giving my thoughts on that as well, but just kind of covering all the bases here. So we're going to be going over more why the officers actually sued him and what specific, defamation and whatnot they thought they were getting him for. Before that, I'm going to get into actually show a clip of Afroman and what he had to say on the stand, and it was very interesting, just his defense for all of it, and it worked in the end of free speech, so we're going to get right into it. Here's the clip.
And you were able to turn on your phone and watch through your home security system what the deputies were doing for a period of time, weren't you?
Yes.
And is it fair to say you were angry and upset about this search?
I wasn't happy.
And is that why you posted the things we've seen this week, because you weren't happy?
No, I posted it because the sheriff's never supposed to raid my house in the first place. The whole raid was a mistake. All of this is their fault. If they hadn't have wrongly raided my house, there would be no lawsuit. I would not know their names. They wouldn't be on my body. They wouldn't be on my home surveillance system. And there would be no songs, nothing. My money would still be intact, nothing. So all of this is their fault.
And because they executed a search warrant on your home, that gave you the right to post the things that we've seen this week on the internet?
Because
Is that right? Is that right, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, for
Yes.
tearing down my door, not paying for it, not being apologetic, me being a sport, doing something peaceful to raise the money to pay for their damages, me having the right of the freedom of speech as an American to talk to my family, friends, and fans about what the sheriffs did to my home. Yes, I had the right to my freedom of speech. After they left, I had the right to kick the can and to do what I had to do to repair the damage they brought to my house. Yes, I did.
So in that video and the clip there, very cool clip. I like how he's dressed up there. But he's right. I honestly am on the side of Afroman here. He used it within his full freedom of speech, making those videos and whatnot. That's just my opinion on the whole thing. Everybody might have a different opinion and whatnot. But I think he was well within his rights to make those videos. Of course, he makes the great point there in that clip that if they didn't, basically, it was a real warrant. Like, it's not like it was a fake warrant or anything, but the circumstances of which the warrant was presented, I think that's a little bit fishy there. So honestly, the warrant itself, whatever. But I think he proves a good point. If they didn't raid his home and damage all his stuff, and they found nothing, by the way. So I mean that also was they didn't find what the warrant was searching for. I think if any of that didn't happen, to his point, there would be no music videos, and you would have even known of any names or anything. So I think I support his claims here. I think he's on the right side, and luckily he did win the case. Of course, as we got there earlier, but I think it was very, very well served, and I think he did good presenting himself up on their stand. And just to kind of cap off the whole court case, because remember, the officer suing him and the court case was kind of related, but also separate, like it was a separate case in a way. So to kind of cap that off, yes, so he ended up winning, and luckily he won this case. Now it's time to get into some of the more funny stuff. So the 7 Adams County, Ohio Sheriff's deputies sued rapper Afroman for defamation, invasion of privacy, like I was saying, for his lemon pound cake, "Will you help me repair my door" videos, mocking the police and showing them searching his home with one deputy famously staring at a pastry, that lemon pound cake on his counter. So that's also what brought up the lawsuit. Um, More specifically, I'm not going to go into all the people who sued him and whatnot, because there's 2 officers specifically that I wanted to get into, not really the other officers, because there are 2 officers specifically that he explicitly kind of went after and mentioned.
Randy Walters is the son of a bitch.
That one being Randy Walters, he also kind of made fun of him after the case and whatnot and stuff. I believe the video came out after the case. Yeah, that was just a sample talking about he, ran the stop sign and whatnot. And he said we're not required to do that, which references when Afroman went to the sheriff's department after they raided his home. They said, "Hey, what are you gonna do? Can you help me pay for my, the damages and whatnot?" And basically, Randy Walters, the guy he's talking about here, he says they're not required to do that. He said we are not required to do that, which is where that reference came from. Basically, told him no, we're not paying for anything. We didn't really do anything wrong. We just served a warrant. Basically, what they told him when he went there for help, and maybe asking if they could help him pay for some of the damages, and that's what he said. We're not required to do that. So that's funny, poking fun of him, talking about him in that video. Then the other person, specifically officer I wanted to talk about, is Lisa Phillips. Now, Lisa Phillips is a very interesting case. She was just also basically one of the other people who sued him for the, again, defamation. He made this video called "Lick 'em Low, Lisa," which is very funny. You'll see the footage here. Very funny as I see it before me, just making fun of Lisa Phillips, saying she's a lesbian and whatnot, and, her voice sounds too deep. Saying she might be a man, may or may not be a man. I don't know. It's so funny watching that video. I love that. Of course, they include her interview in that video. I'll link it below, actually, just to give some credit to Afroman, because it's such a funny video. I love Lick 'em Low, Lisa. It's the funniest video I've ever seen, honestly. And he makes comedy out of it, the whole situation, and you gotta love it. He chooses to make comedy out of it. But yeah, her interview is also in that video as well. So there's some footage there, very funny. But I highly recommend you watch it. Give Afroman some love. A very funny video there. But I thought it was just funny how just those 2 officers in specific he made videos of, and I thought it was interesting to kind of touch up on who exactly they were. And yeah, he won in the end. The man won. It was a very interesting case nonetheless. I was kind of waiting to see if anything else maybe happened, but the case is officially closed. And yeah, very interesting court case, very trendy thing to kind of come out of random. But yeah, very, very nice. Very nice to see Afroman patriotically in that suit. And he won, proved the Constitution in America here. He won full use of his First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, and he loved to see it. But yeah, I think it was very, very, very fun case, and I thought it was fun to come on here and give my thoughts about. To end it off, my final thoughts on this, I think Afroman did what he should have done. He kind of took it to court. I mean, they sued him. I mean, they kind of did all the damages to him, in my opinion. But then, he ended up taking it to court up the ladder, and he won, and, that's all on them. The department, officers individually who sued him, and it just shows, it shows in court, proven, that he really didn't do anything wrong. And I think and a lot of other people would agree that that's the case there. He didn't do anything wrong. Freedom of speech. I love Afroman. I knew him before this, but a lot of people are finding out, being turned on to his music now, especially after this case, as they got the increase in streaming. So it's very good. Yeah, he's a good guy. Had some classic songs. Love some of his songs. So go check him out if you ever heard of him. If you're just hearing him from me, very, very cool guy. I like him. I never met him personally, but his video, of course, obviously not. But his video is, videos and whatnot. His style of music is very colorful and interesting. I like to see it. Very stylish, showy, if you will. Yeah, go check him out. Of course, I'll link the video like I was saying below. Yeah, my final thoughts are he won. He won this one. So, yeah, I thought it was a fun My Thoughts. Like I said, got a slew of other My Thoughts coming out, so stay tuned for that. A lot of things I would like to give my input on. A lot of things happening. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Of course, please subscribe for more content, like video, stuff, Discord, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, links in the description. Of course, comment down below what you think of this whole court trial case thing with Afroman. I think it's a very interesting case in general. I think just to be brought up to court. Very funny, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, comment down below, all that good stuff. But yeah, for now though, I will see you guys in the next video.